I've been a nutritionist almost 4 decades, but I didn't start my university career as a nutritionist. I went to the University of Colorado in Boulder and I learned anthropology. And it was part of a pre-med degree, but I was able to pick some different subjects that weren't exactly just pre-med. And that subject that I did with anthropology changed everything for me. Because what I learned in that 12 months of doing that subject with a gentleman by the name of Professor Van Gerven at the University of Colorado was I learned how food helped us get to where we are right now. How we evolved from the hunter-gatherer to the agricultural revolution onto the herding society, then we got into the information society, and now we're in what we call the chemical food revolution. And I don't think the chemical food revolution's working. Our chronic disease rate has increased. We now have children in Australia between 38 and 40% with a chronic disease. In America, it's above 50%. If you reach the age of 60 here in Australia, your chronic disease rate is at a rate of over 80% of the population. So I don't know if that chemical revolution of the way we eat is working. What I do think has worked for us and has helped us survive to this point is looking at the foods of our hunter-gatherer, our agriculturalists, and our herding society. And when we look at those foods, we realize they were real foods. There were no chemicals, there was no genetically modified or Roundup ready foods, there was no natural flavors, there was no colors, there was only natural foods. So our hunter-gatherers ate meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, maybe some eggs. Our agricultural revolution, we started to eat grain and legumes. But these grains and legumes were not grown with dubious chemicals. They were grown seasonally, and they were soaked and fermented and cooked into mashes or breads. And then when we went to the herding society, our milk was raw, our cream was raw, our butter was made raw. We didn't have the processes of pasteurized, homogenized, skim trim, rev shaped, add oil, butter's no good, let's go to margarine. So looking at an historical perspective of the food that we consume gives us a really good idea what our evolutionary body needed. So we are an evolutionary body. We are not a modern body. So we have to fake the body into believing it's getting those evolutionary needs. One of them is real food, food that is clean, food that is grown in the ground or grows on the ground or eats the food on the ground. Foods that we process ourselves in a kitchen, not in a chemical laboratory. And when you look at a food in the grocery store and you read the ingredients, you've got to ask, is this for my evolutionary body? Is this going to be healing for my evolutionary body? Or do I need to go to the fruit and veggie section or the meat and fish and chicken section or maybe even the health food section in order to get the foods that my evolutionary body needs? Your evolutionary body also needs, in a historical perspective, sunshine, sleep, connection, movement. These are all important for your innate, intelligent body to be the healthiest it can possibly be. So when you are thinking about the meals that you are going to be eating over the next, let's say, couple of weeks, I want you to really think when you put that breakfast cereal into the bowl, how is it made? What's in it? What are the ingredients? And then you add that milk to it. Has it been pasteurized, homogenized, skim trim, rev shaped? And then you might add sugar to it. Is it an artificial sweetener or is it real sugar? And then that bread that you're eating, read the ingredients. And are you putting butter or margarine on? So I really want you to think about it over the next couple of weeks and maybe make some changes back away from packaged processed foods onto real foods. Hope that's helped you. I'll see you in the next video.